Quick intro to who I am. My name's Pastor Al Deschanel. I've been in ministry for almost 30 years, and 16 of those I was a solo pastor of small churches in U.S. and Canada. I'm a preacher, teacher, author who just has had a fascination with media and technology since I was in junior high. I preached for a long time, but always in ministry, there was this connection to media, tech, internet, online stuff. For the past 2.5 years, I've been known as XtianNinja, a full-time live streamer and content creator on a website known as Twitch. I'll explain that a little bit more later. Quick intro to what I do. What do I do with my channel? What do I do with on ministry? Let me preface that by saying this. Digital media consumption, you know already, is absolutely huge, right? There are 3.5 billion gamers in the world. YouTube has 122 million users every day. Twitch, which is the platform that I'm on most of the time, is where people come and watch live video broadcasts from people all over the world doing everything from watching people play video games to cooking or drawing or recording music or making crafts, just tons of stuff. Twitch has 31 million daily users. So as we speak, as you're sitting here, 100,000 live streams are happening right now around the world, and there are 3 million people that are watching them. So what do I do? Well, it's not too much different than what I did when I was in traditional ministry. I preach, I teach, I counsel, I build community, I disciple believers, I train up godly leaders. Basically, from Monday to Thursday for about 3 to 5 hours, I turn on my camera, turn on my microphone, I log into Twitch, and I just talk to people from all over the world. Every stream starts with a daily devotional, then we move into a big personal or spiritual topic of the day, and that usually leads to a couple hours of chatting about what's going on in people's lives, or giving advice, or sharing stories, or teaching something, or we laugh or we cry along with folks who are sharing. Then I take a little break and I transition into something that the people on Twitch enjoy, which is like playing a video game or showing silly pictures or reacting to a video or doing whatever fun or entertaining thing I can come up with that people will enjoy. During those fun times, people from all around the world, from like all walks of life, everywhere, different religions, different cultures, they will interrupt and they'll tell their story. They'll ask a question. They will ask for spiritual advice. They will ask for practical advice, or they'll just hang out and talk about whatever we're doing on stream. Then I close stream and I go and we connect offline. I'm no longer visible. And so we go connect online through a chatting software called Discord. My mission statement for what I do, I'll give it to you as I give it to everybody else, which is to build an open, encouraging, and meaningful online family through gaming, real talk, and God's truth. I do this for the lost, the lonely, the disenfranchised all over the world who are looking for more than just another video to watch or another game to play. They're longing for a personal connection, but struggle with finding that connection. They're people who are impossible for the gospel to reach through to traditional missions. Now, who are these people? Who am I reaching? Well, let me share with you 4 groups of people that traditional ministries just can't get to. And that's because they very rarely leave their homes. They struggle with personal connection, and there's a few other reasons that we'll get into. Many of them only open their door for the guy delivering their food or their Amazon package. Like, they are people that are at home. Now, who are they? Well, there's people that have mental illness or like issues with anxiety, depression, PTSD, social anxiety, people with learning disabilities like autism and ADHD. For those people, attending a church service, going to one of your outreaches, going to any kind of ministry group or a concert, it's incredibly overwhelming. It's too much for them. They can control what's happening online in their little cocoon at home, but going out to this kind of stuff is difficult for them. Another group is passionate nerds, gamers, those with niche interests. Churches have a hard time connecting to them. There are a lot of folks who will not come to your church or join your social group or go to youth group because their favorite thing in the world isn't accepted or understood there. So they go find their peer groups online. There are those who are held captive by the dark side of the internet. There are millions of people around the world, you know this, that are struggling with all the stuff I'm talking about, and they try to feel better by watching countless hours of violent or overtly sexual or profane or just downright demonic content by themselves in their rooms. And so they're addicted, and they have this kind of desperate shame cycle they can't break out of because they don't want to leave, and they are ashamed to talk to anybody like us, as in traditional ministers. I still feel like I'm a traditional minister, even though I'm online. The last group is disgruntled believers, those hurt by the church. This is a group that I come across regularly in my streams. They're believers who long for meaning. They long for Christian community. They want pastoral care. They want spiritual direction, but they have very negative or even abusive experiences with traditional churches. Some of them were active in their church. Some of them were part of a thriving community when they felt a calling from God to reach their online friends, to go reach the ones they're playing games with or the ones that they're seeing online. And they brought their passion to the church leaders, and the church leaders didn't support them. In fact, they didn't just not support them, they outright rejected that ministry idea, and they felt invalidated. So they went, instead of saying, okay, church, I will do something else, they kept their calling. They left the church. They went online, and they started building their own Christian communities. Then they find me, and I help to train them, and I help to connect them. Each of these groups is longing for freedom, love, hope, meaning, acceptance, like everybody else, even discipleship. But there's absolutely no way for them to be reached by traditional missions. That's where digital missions comes in. Now, how's it going? And why is it working? Why have I been able to do this for the last 2.5 years? So when God called me into this ministry, though I did have experience with a lot of digital media, like videos and podcasts and ebooks and blogs, I'd done all that. I'd never really live streamed. But as I've sought to obey God's will and seek his call, he's blessed in amazing ways. I've grown to be one of the largest streamers on Twitch. I meet so many people every single day. I got people that show up and they're consistent, and I got people from around the world that I meet every single day that are new and I've never known before. I've started a network of Christian content creators called TACO, the Alliance for Creative Outreach, where I take people from everywhere and I take them through a 10-week leadership and personal development course and then I invite them to join the team, a media creation team, or I release them to connect to their own communities. Basically, if I was a church plant, like a traditional church plant, I would have, in the last 2 years, preached hundreds of sermons to hundreds of people, gathered dozens of faithful attendees who I connect daily with, developed and sent over 25 global missionaries, hosted large evangelistic and discipleship events, and built a solid reputation with missionaries all over the world who see me and what we're doing here as a trusted resource for training and support. And I do all of this from my basement with a webcam and a microphone. And that's where I'm going to talk about the technical side of what I do. The thing is, what I do doesn't have a high bar of technological entry. If you want to start connecting with the lost, the lonely, the disenfranchised all around the world, there's not much you need. Of course, like anything, the technology can be as complicated as you want it to be. If you tell somebody, they want to be a carpenter and all they really need is a saw and a hammer and some nails and some wood, right? But the better you get, the more you do, the more tools you need. So I've got toys for days, but I don't need them all. I can do most of what I do with a 10-year-old computer, a $100 webcam, and a $50 microphone. The software is a little complicated, but there are all sorts of training videos online for free. Connecting to Twitch or YouTube is free. Most of the gizmos and gadgets that make it fun are free. You don't even have to play games. You can just log in and talk to people. But if you do want to play games, many of the most popular games that everybody's into are also free. As you sit here today, many of you have the technology and you also have the heart for the lost community to reach the lost, develop communities. You have public speaking skills. You have experiences and education that is worth sharing. You have the willingness to learn. You have it already. And within your churches, there are young people and not so young people that have the desire to engage with social media, are already making and sharing videos online. They even have their own streams. However, for all the reasons that I've already mentioned, they don't share their interest and they don't know how to leverage it for the gospel. But you do. And you know how to train them as evangelists and apologists and enculturated missionaries. You are already 90% of the way there to do much of what I'm doing. What you need is to open your eyes to the millions of people that you will never reach without digital missions, to realize that streaming your services and having a website will never connect to those people. That is purely for those who are already in. And you need to be willing to do what missionaries have been doing forever. And that is to have the courage and the faith to bring God's love to a new culture, a new people group, and through a pioneer ministry that very few people are engaged in, to take the risk to learn how to do it. So if you do have questions or you want to chat more about this, just contact me through my email address or join me in one of my streams and come say hello. I'm more than happy to chat with you and to explain anything you want.